Before we begin this incredible journey of Mohamed Salah, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing sports stories. Now let's dive into the inspiring life of a football legend. In a small village called Nagrig in Egypt, a young boy named Mohamed Salah kicked a ball for the first time. He wasn't born into wealth or luxury. His family lived a simple life, and football was just a game that brought him joy. But for Salah, it was more than that. It was a passion, a way to escape the struggles of everyday life. Every afternoon, after school, he would run to the streets with his friends, playing until the sun went down. He didn't have expensive football boots or a proper field, but he had something more important, an unbreakable love for the game. His father noticed his talent early, but in Egypt, becoming a professional footballer wasn't easy. Opportunities were rare and success seemed like a distant dream. Yet Salah was determined. He would travel for hours by bus just to attend football training in Cairo, sacrificing school time and exhausting himself beyond limits. At just 14 years old, he joined a local club called El Mokhaloun, where coaches saw something special in him. He wasn't the strongest or tallest, but he was fast, lightning fast. His speed and dribbling ability made him stand out, and soon he became the talk of the town. But talent alone wasn't enough. He had to prove himself every single day. While his friends enjoyed their teenage years, Salah was on the road, traveling for 6 hours daily just to train. It was a lonely journey, filled with doubts and sacrifices. Many people told him to focus on studies, to choose a real career. But Salah had already made his decision. He was going to be a footballer, no matter what. And soon the world would know his name. Salah's hard work started paying off. When he was promoted to the first team of El Mokhaloun, he was just 17, playing among grown men. But he didn't let that intimidate him. His speed was his biggest weapon, and defenders struggled to keep up with him. Game after game, he impressed the coaches and fans. But just when his career was beginning to take off, disaster struck. In 2012, the Egyptian league was suspended due to political unrest. For many players, this was the end of their dreams. Clubs shut down, salaries stopped, and opportunities disappeared overnight. Salah's future was suddenly uncertain. But fate had other plans. A Swiss club, FC Basel, had been keeping an eye on him. They had seen his speed, his hunger, and his talent. In a friendly match against Basel, Salah was given a chance to prove himself. He didn't just play well, he dominated. The Swiss club wasted no time and signed him immediately. It was a huge step for Salah, moving to Europe, leaving his family behind, and stepping into the unknown. The cold weather, the new language, the unfamiliar culture, it was all overwhelming. But Salah didn't complain. He focused on one thing: football. At Basel, he continued to shine. His speed and dribbling made him a nightmare for defenders. He scored important goals, including one against Chelsea in the Champions League. The world was starting to notice the Egyptian winger. But his journey was far from over. Bigger clubs were watching, and soon, the opportunity of a lifetime would come knocking. Salah had made it to Europe, but now he had to prove he belonged there. Salah's performances at Basel caught the attention of one of the biggest clubs in the world, Chelsea. In 2014, Jose Mourinho's team signed him, making him the first Egyptian to play for the club. It was a dream come true. He was now sharing a dressing room with legends like Frank Lampard, Eden Hazard, and Didier Drogba. The excitement was unreal. But dreams don't always go as planned. At Chelsea, Salah struggled. He barely got any playing time. Mourinho didn't trust him enough to start big games. No matter how hard he trained, he remained on the bench, watching from the sidelines as others took the spotlight. It was frustrating. Salah had left his family, his country, and everything behind to make it in Europe, and now he was stuck in a place where he couldn't show his true potential. The few times he did get a chance, the pressure was immense. Every mistake felt like the end of the road. People started calling him a flop. The same fans who once praised his talent were now mocking him. The media was brutal. Was this the end of Salah's European dream? Would he become just another forgotten player? But Salah refused to give up. Instead of letting the criticism destroy him, he used it as fuel. He knew he had to leave Chelsea to prove himself. So when Fiorentina and later AS Roma came calling, he took the opportunity. It wasn't the Premier League. It wasn't the biggest stage. But it was a chance to restart, to show the world that Chelsea had made a mistake. Salah packed his bags and moved to Italy, determined to rebuild his career from scratch. When Salah arrived in Italy, he was a different man. The disappointment at Chelsea had changed him. He wasn't just a fast winger anymore, he was hungry, desperate to prove that he belonged among the best. At Fiorentina, he immediately made an impact. His speed terrorized defenders and his dribbling left goalkeepers helpless. He scored against big teams, reminding the world that he wasn't finished yet. Italian football was slower than the Premier League, but Salah used that to his advantage. He was quicker than everyone else, and soon, he became one of the most dangerous players in Serie A. But one good season wasn't enough. He needed consistency. That's when AS Roma signed him permanently. At Roma, Salah transformed completely. He became a goal machine, no longer just a winger. He was now cutting inside, scoring from impossible angles, and assisting his teammates. In his second season, he scored 19 league goals, his best tally ever. He wasn't just proving Chelsea wrong. He was making a name for himself as one of Europe's deadliest forwards. Roma fans adored him, and for the first time he felt like he belonged. However, deep down, Salah knew his journey wasn't complete. He had unfinished business in England. The Premier League had rejected him once, but he was ready to return. And in 2017, the call he had been waiting for finally came. Liverpool, one of England's greatest clubs, wanted him. Jurgen Klopp saw something special in Salah, something Chelsea had missed. It was time for the Egyptian king to come home and conquer England once and for all. When Mohamed Salah signed for Liverpool in 2017, many doubted him. The English media called him a Chelsea reject, a player who had failed in the Premier League before. But Salah didn't care. He had waited years for this moment, and now he was ready to prove everyone wrong. Under Jurgen Klopp, Salah found the perfect system for his style of play. Liverpool's fast, attacking football suited him perfectly. From his very first game, it was clear. This was a new Salah. Faster, stronger, and deadlier than ever. His first season at Liverpool was nothing short of magical. He broke record after record, scoring 44 goals in all competitions. No one expected it. Defenders couldn't stop him. Goalkeepers feared him. The Anfield crowd sang his name, and in no time he became a fan favorite. He wasn't just a great player. He was a hero for millions of Egyptians watching him back home. For the first time, an Egyptian was dominating European football at the highest level. Salah wasn't just playing for himself. He was carrying the hopes of an entire nation. By the end of the season, he had won the Premier League Golden Boot, been named PFA Player of the Year, and taken Liverpool to the Champions League final. But just when everything seemed perfect, disaster struck. In the final against Real Madrid, a rough challenge from Sergio Ramos dislocated Salah's shoulder. He left the pitch in tears, his dreams shattered. The pain was unbearable, not just physically but emotionally. He had come so far only to be stopped at the biggest moment of his career. But Salah was not the type to stay down for long. He had suffered before, and just like always, he was ready to fight back. Salah's injury in the Champions League final was heartbreaking, but he didn't let it define him. Just weeks later, he led Egypt to their first World Cup in 28 years, scoring the crucial goals that sent his country to Russia. Though he played the tournament with an injured shoulder, his presence alone was enough to inspire millions. But Salah had unfinished business. His European dream was not complete. He returned to Liverpool more determined than ever. He wasn't just playing for trophies now. He was playing for redemption. The 2018-19 season saw Salah continue his dominance. He won the Premier League Golden Boot again and helped Liverpool push for every title. But the real test came in the Champions League once more. After last season's heartbreak, Liverpool was back in the final, this time against Tottenham Hotspur. And this time Salah was ready. In the second minute of the match, Liverpool won a penalty. The whole world held its breath as Salah stepped up. He had faced pressure before, but this was different. This was personal. He took a deep breath and smashed the ball into the net. Anfield erupted. Salah had his moment. Liverpool went on to win the final 2-0, securing their 6th European Cup. Salah had completed his redemption arc. From being labeled a Chelsea reject to becoming a Champions League winner, he had silenced every critic. He wasn't just a great player, he was a legend in the making. The streets of Egypt were filled with celebrations. Fans across the world bowed to the Egyptian king. But Salah knew this was just the beginning. He wanted more. He wanted to take Liverpool back to the top of English football. After conquering Europe, Salah set his sights on the ultimate prize, the Premier League title. Liverpool hadn't won the English League in 30 years, and the pressure was immense. But Salah thrived under pressure. Week after week he delivered stunning performances, scoring crucial goals and leading Liverpool to victory after victory. Jurgen Klopp's team was unstoppable, and Salah was at the heart of it all. His chemistry with Sadio, Mane and Roberto Firmino made Liverpool's attack one of the deadliest in football history. The 2019-20 season was unlike anything Liverpool fans had ever seen. They dominated the league from start to finish, winning game after game with an intensity no team could match. Salah, as always, was leading the charge. He scored in the biggest matches, proving once again that he was Liverpool's main man. Then in June 2020, history was made. After 30 years of waiting, Liverpool were finally crowned Premier League champions. Anfield exploded with joy. Fans celebrated across the world. And at the center of it all was Mohamed Salah, the Egyptian king, the hero who had delivered the title they had longed for. Salah's legacy at Liverpool was now secure. He had won the Champions League, the Premier League, and countless individual awards. But he wasn't satisfied. Many players win titles and fade away, but Salah wanted to be remembered forever. He didn't just want to be a great Liverpool player. He wanted to be one of the greatest in football history. And for that he knew he had to keep going, keep scoring, and keep winning. With the Premier League and Champions League trophies in his cabinet, Salah was no longer just a Liverpool star. He was a global football icon. But instead of slowing down, he kept breaking records. He became the fastest Liverpool player to score 100 goals in the Premier League. He surpassed legends like Steven Gerrard and Kenny Dalglish in the club's all-time scoring charts. Every season he competed for the Golden Boot, proving that his success was no fluke. But greatness comes with challenges. As Salah rose, so did the rivalries. Defenders tried everything to stop him. Harsh tackles, mind games, and double marking, but nothing worked. His battles with Manchester United, Chelsea, and Manchester City became legendary. Every time people doubted him, he responded with goals. His hat-trick against Manchester United at Old Trafford in 2021 was a statement. Salah was the best player in the league, and there was no debate. Yet despite his individual brilliance, football is a team game. Liverpool had ups and downs. Some seasons brought trophies, others brought heartbreaks. But Salah remained a constant force. He never complained, never backed down. He played every game like it was his last, carrying Liverpool on his shoulders. Fans adored him, and even rival supporters had to respect him. But Salah knew that football wasn't just about club success. It was also about what he represented to millions of people worldwide. As the years passed, Salah's influence extended beyond football. He wasn't just a Liverpool icon or a Premier League superstar, he was a role model for millions. Young players from Africa and the Middle East looked up to him as proof that dreams could come true. He became one of the most marketable athletes in the world, appearing on magazine covers, winning global awards, and even making the Time 100 list of the most influential people. But through all the fame and success, Salah remained humble. He never forgot where he came from. Back in Nagrig, the small Egyptian village where his journey began, Salah gave back to the community. He built schools, hospitals, and funded projects to help those in need. He wasn't just a footballer, he was a symbol of hope. Whenever he returned home, thousands gathered to catch a glimpse of their hero. In Egypt, he was more than a player. He was a national treasure. The government even offered him an entire island, but Salah declined. His focus was always on the game and helping people. On the pitch, he continued to break barriers. He became Liverpool's all-time top scorer in the Champions League. He reached 200 goals for the club, something only a handful of legends had done. Critics tried to say he was past his prime, but every time they doubted him, he responded with a stunning goal or a world-class performance. His hunger for success never faded. He wasn't just making history, he was rewriting it. And as he approached the later stages of his career, one question remained. What more could he achieve before the final chapter of his football story was written? As Salah entered the later years of his career, the debate about his legacy intensified. Was he Liverpool's greatest ever player? Many believe so. His records, his impact, and his ability to deliver in the biggest moments placed him alongside legends like Steven Gerrard and Kenny Dalglish. But Salah was never concerned with comparisons. His focus remained on the game, on winning, and on giving his all every time he stepped onto the pitch. Despite offers from other clubs and leagues, Salah remained loyal to Liverpool. He still had more to give. With every goal he scored, he cemented his place in history. Even as new talents emerged, he continued to compete at the highest level, proving that age was just a number. Fans chanted his name, knowing they were witnessing something special, a once-in-a-generation player who had transformed a club and inspired millions. But every story must come to an end. Whether he retires at Liverpool, returns to Egypt, or takes on a new challenge elsewhere, one thing is certain: Mohamed Salah's name will live on forever. He came from the streets of Nagrig, faced rejection, fought through adversity, and rose to become one of football's greatest icons. His journey wasn't just about trophies or records. It was about proving that dreams have no limits. And for every young child kicking a ball in Egypt, Africa, or anywhere in the world, Salah's story will forever be a reminder: anything is possible. Conclusion: from being doubted to becoming one of football's biggest legends, Mohamed Salah's journey is nothing short of extraordinary. He didn't just win titles, he inspired a generation. His story is one of resilience, hard work, and never giving up, no matter how tough the road gets. Message to viewers: if you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe and like this video for more inspiring football stories. Stay tuned for more incredible journeys from the world of sports.